We sold our house!
Don't get too psyched because you haven't sold it yet. You're in escrow. Do you understand what escrow is?
Good afternoon to everybody. This is Maria with Orange County Escrow Services with another episode of our podcast with Heart to Heart with Escrow. And today we have Ellie Ortiz with Laguna Legal. And we're going to talk a little bit about with a lot of the legal documents that we kind of encountered, a lot with real estate, a lot with businesses, and a lot with living trust. So Ellie, tell me about yourself. Give me a little brief about yourself.
Hi, Maria. Thanks for having me. So Laguna Legal is a legal document service. We're not attorneys. We don't represent our clients, but we have been in business for 24 years, and we help with preparation, filing, recording of all kinds of legal documents. So that's an overview.
So that's a lot of years of experience. How did you get into doing legal documents for people? How did you start your business?
Well, I started my business as a paralegal. I worked under an attorney, a family law attorney, actually for 5 years. And during that time that I was working under the attorney, I kept noticing that a lot of the cases that should have been resolved, the parent, I was the one talking to the clients, and they were saying how the other parent was a good parent. They really were, they didn't want to fight anymore. And then I would be typing up a motion, and it was all about how horrible the other parent was and how they shouldn't have custody of the kids. And it just didn't sit well with me. And so I did that for 5 years. And after that, I decided I wanted to go into mediation and helping people do divorce mediation, helping them stay out of court, and just helping families. So really, Laguna Legal was born on divorce mediation. That's kind of how it started.
Which, you helped me with a couple of my stuff. And at first, mediation is very important. And a lot of us out there don't know the type of service and how you can actually help. I know for me at one point, and for a lot of people, I see that they struggle with retaining an attorney, and they're not getting the same response as what I experienced with you as far as the turnaround, the caring, the calling back. So with that, I know we met through an agent, or you came into my office and you gave me these really cute jelly beans, right? And I'm like, this is really cool because those jelly beans last me for like 6 months, and we kept on eating from it, but your logo was there. And so I saw what you did. And, a lot of the times, I get asked on living trust, right? Which is very important for us in real estate, maybe, because it's kind of an umbrella, what it does to protect, your assets or anything that you have out there, so that we can avoid probate. So tell me how you help clients with those living trusts, because for us in real estate is very important, because I get a lot of people that ask me, hey, I want to remove myself and add my son, because I'm going through, whether it's Medicare that they're going through and they're going to go after their home, or they want to feel like if something happens to me, I have my son that's on title. A lot of the times I said, have you thought about a living trust? So explain to us the importance of a living trust, especially when it comes to real estate and investment properties or any assets just in general.
Yeah. Okay, I will. Absolutely. Living trusts are very important, just like you said. They are a tool that helps your family and your loved ones avoid probate. So that's the number one reason why people get them. But there are a lot of tax advantages to having a living trust, and that's what a lot of parties don't understand. So they do call us and they say, I want to add my son or daughter to title to avoid probate. And okay, that's great. That is a way to avoid probate, but there is a definite benefit to them inheriting the property. And the biggest benefit is the step up in basis. So that is, if the property was purchased for $100,000 at the time of your death, the property is worth $1 million. If they inherit the property, they don't have to pay capital gains from the 100,000 to the million. Mm-hmm. That's the number one reason why it's a really good idea to put your property in a living trust, let your kids inherit the property, because there are tax advantages to that. But we're not attorneys, so we don't really give legal advice. What we do is once the parties are clear of what it is that they want, then we will help them draft the documents. If they are not sure, we'll refer them sometimes to their CPA, because the CPA can talk about tax advantages. But we've found over time that everyone always comes back and says, my CPA recommended the living trust was a better way to go.
And it is, because I've had a lot of couple of transactions myself where I do have a living trust, and so they get inherited with their children. So there's other parts to it that is the benefit, because I've had one that the property, I think the mother hadn't bought the property for $120,000 in Huntington Beach. She passed away, and now the daughters had to sell the home, and they sold it for over $1.5 million. So they saved themselves that capital gain, right?
Yeah.
And I know that these living trusts also have what they call the EIN number,
Yes.
that they can do your taxes. And of course, like you said, we're not CPAs, but a lot of the times, like myself, I do have to refer them out to CPA to complete the tax form. But it has a lot of benefits. And a lot of the times I tell my client, it's like, think about a living trust versus adding your son or someone, because if that person gets to a car accident, for example, or they go through a lawsuit, they know they own that house and they're going to do a lien against that property.
Absolutely.
So that's the greater benefit. It's like an umbrella, right? We also want to touch on a subject of, the deed of trust and notes that you do. Okay. I do get a lot of, people who want to do, seller carryback, but they want me to generate the deed of trust or the note. If you're not using my escrow, or it's something that you're letting someone borrow money and you want to put a note against that property, you can also do that.
Yes, absolutely. We do a lot of those. We do a lot of promissory note, deed of trust, and especially the higher the interest rate goes, the more difficult that it is to get a loan on a property. Creative financing is really the way to go, because I know a lot of agents are watching this podcast. So creative financing, promissory note, deed of trust, family, you can borrow from your family, you can borrow from the trust, you can borrow from sellers can do a seller carryback so that they can sell the property, because if they don't do that, their buyer may not have the 20% down payment that's necessary. So sometimes we'll do it where escrow closes and the 20% is not, it's a seller carryback, but it's not really a seller carryback. It's recorded after escrow closes,
right?
To help with loans and situations like that. Again, we don't give legal advice. All we do is draft the documents at the direction of the clients. So call us and we can help you get those documents drafted and recorded.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know I had another client, and you also do LLCs for those who want to start up their own business and generate your LLC, your S Corps and all that stuff. Ellie also does and assists you guys with all that. So it's like a one-stop shop, guys. It's everything. If you want to get divorced, she's your gal. You don't want to go to court and you just kind of agree with your other significant other, this is what we're going to do, and we don't want to go to court. We don't want to spend money on attorneys. She does everything. She does the mediation as well. And mediation, elaborate a little bit more of what mediation is. It's not just the divorce mediation that you do.
We do all kinds of mediation. We do real estate mediation, all kinds of issues. If two parties are not getting along, mediation doesn't mean, a lot of times people think that if they're signing up for mediation, that means that there's an agreement. That's not true. If there was an agreement, you wouldn't need mediation. So if you're fighting with another party, what we'll do is we'll have the party number one come to us and say, I want to hire your office to help us with mediation. And then what we do is we'll reach out to party number two and invite them to participate in mediation. And then a lot of times it may not happen at the very beginning or the onset of the phone call, but after a few calls or after time, they do decide to participate. And when they do participate, we have a 99% success rate. So once, the success rate, I don't calculate it from every single situation where they've called our office, because obviously you can't count that as a success rate. But every time they say it's not going to work, but I'll try, it works. So really, mediation is the way to go, and for all kinds of transactions, not just divorce.
So do you have like a special tactic to like difficult clients. Like, I remember when you're like, no, he's not going to come in. You're not ever going to convince this person. Have you ever had occasions where like, don't worry about it. Trust me, I got it. Even though, they said, hey, he's a hard head or he's whatever it is, you'll never convince him. For sure we're going to go to court and I have to spend all this kinds of money. You have that in you where you've had occasions where you're like, how hard it is, you'll still convince them, or you're some way, shape, and form, you get them in your office, and
it works. Now, I do have a story, which is kind of like
I love stories.
Okay.
Yes.
So I did say this is years ago, maybe 20 years ago, and there was a police officer who was a client of ours, and he came into the office and he wanted to get a divorce, and he wanted his wife to participate in mediation because he wanted her to sign off on his retirement account and some other things. And so he really didn't want to go with attorneys, and he really wanted to try to convince her to take the house in exchange for the pension or, whatever his idea was. So I said to him, listen, just get her here. Yeah. Whatever it takes, get her here. And when she gets here, I will talk to her and we will be able to reach an agreement. Well, I don't do that. I don't say that anymore. I don't say whatever it takes, get her here, because what he did is he told her they were going to buy a puppy.
Oh, no.
So she got in the car. She thought they were going to buy a puppy, and that was so sad. I swear to God, the look on her face when she walked in the office and found out that they weren't there to buy a puppy. So in the end, it was horrible. What a jerk!
Wow.
What
a
jerk! That's all I can say about that. But I did help them. They were able to reach an agreement, and
the least you could have just had the puppy there as a thank you, right? Like, hey, I got you here, but you still get the puppy, and you just sign. Those are difficult situations, but I think your team does a great job with, organizing that meeting where if they don't feel comfortable both being there, I know you meet with one and then the other, and the communication there, it's very, for me was a great experience, and so I know I referred you some other people as well, and they've had a good experience. And for me, it's that, it's avoiding the court and all that. And I don't know how you were doing during COVID, but I know nobody was at the courts or anything like that. Yeah. Were you busy during COVID?
We were busy. We were busy during COVID. Everything shut down, but luckily for us, we were able to do electronic recordings with the county recorder's office.
That's a plus.
We're a direct electronic recording service. We're able to do e-filings with the court, so we were able to get things filed. Of course, all the hearings were now on Zoom. It evolved. Everything shut down for a while, but then everything switched over to Zoom. So we were able to keep working, and we're considered an essential business. So we were open during the whole, the 2 years that everyone else was shut down.
Right.
We were open.
Right.
So that was nice. And then I just do want to say one thing. You mentioned my team. I have an incredible team.
Yeah.
I have the best team that works with me. I'm so grateful for them every day, and they really do an awesome job. So Sienna is our office manager. She does a great job at the office. Autumn is a paralegal. She's phenomenal. She does a great job doing all the court documents and filings. And then the most recent member of our team is my daughter Layla. So nice. I'm so happy to have her there, and she's the front desk and front face of Laguna Legal when you walk in the door. So it's pretty exciting, and a lot of times people call our office and they only want to speak with me. But I'm the mediator. I will be the one that's there when you need me, but at the beginning the team helps get all of that set up. So when you call, anyone that answers can help you get started.
Yeah, it's a great team, and I think the team is what makes your company look good. As long as everybody kind of what you train them is just customer service, and service is what you give. So I think I have another question that I think I go through. What that I'm seeing a lot: probates.
Oh, yeah, probate. We've been doing a
Yes.
lot of probates. I mean, obviously, everyone wants to avoid probate, which is why they do the living trust. But there are those occasions where you want to help a family sell a property and you can't because the deceased person is on title. So we can help with, there's two types of probate. So there's
Okay.
a Hagstead petition.
Okay.
And a Hagstead petition is a very condensed version of probate for people who have a living trust but just forgot to put their property in it, or they had their property in it, they took it out to refinance and they forgot to put it back in. So that's a Hagstead petition. And then the regular probate is like a full probate, and that's probably about a year and a half process. But we help from beginning to end with all the paperwork. Usually within 2 to 3 months, the property can be sold. So the initial order, the initial hearing is when we get permission to sell the property.
Is it just attorneys that have to do probates? Because I know a lot of the times I get like the title companies that say that they want a letter from the attorney with, giving authorization to sell the home. And obviously if they've done their process of putting it out, I don't know if it's in the newspaper or in the media where, they have to say there's this property, it's in probate. Anybody that feels whatever entitled to this, they have to come to this, meeting or whatnot. Does probate have to be done by attorneys, or you can take care of the probate from beginning to end?
We can take care of it from beginning to end. Okay. So attorneys are wonderful, of course. If you have a situation where the families are fighting, we will not be able to help the parties. We'll refer them to attorneys. We do refer out a lot to attorneys. But if it's a situation where all the family members are in agreement, there are really no issues as far as the family goes, the only issue is maneuvering through the court system, doing the filings, doing the publications, getting the letters of probate, getting the order for probate. Those are the things that are needed in order to be able to sell a property. So we maneuver through the court system. We do the publication. We take care of everything. The only thing that we don't take care of is going to court on behalf of our client. So our client will have to represent themselves at the hearing, and there are 2 hearings usually for a probate process. One is the initial petition for probate, and then a final petition for distribution and to close out the probate. So there's 2 times where the client will have to appear, but everything is in order and it's just a formality. So it's just walk in, make it official, and then walk out.
See, guys, Laguna Legal is your place to go for all these stuff, especially with real estate, because we do come across a lot, especially for me. And when they tell me, this is what I'm going through, even with power of attorneys, I've had one where, the gal just had a power of attorney for the child or the son that was out in the army, and he was out of the country. Okay. So she had a power of attorney. Let's talk about power of attorneys, because they can get tricky in real estate, right?
Yes.
There's certain power of attorneys that can be used for real estate, and there's certain power of attorneys because the person is still ill, but there's things that come along with that power of attorney to do, let's just say, to sign a grant deed, right? If somebody's hospitalized and has dementia and someone has a power of attorney, now what are the process, or have you do power of attorneys?
Yeah, we do power of attorneys. Usually escrow companies want a special power of attorney, not a general power of attorney, and they want it to specifically specify the property and the transaction. So we'll do a special power of attorney for a circumstance where it's going through escrow and the property is going to be sold. General power of attorneys are great for, like, if you want someone to be able to act instead of you on any given issue, but then a lot of times you'll run into the legal department at the bank, and then they'll want a separate form signed. When there's money involved, people really want to be careful with these things. Yeah. So it's not a general power of attorney doesn't cover every situation. It lets the person that's reading it know that you're assigning this person as the agent. Sometimes we will get people that will come into our office and they'll say that I have a power of attorney over my brother and he wants to sign his property over to me. Yeah. That gets a little bit tricky, and that's difficult for us. So you're not supposed to use a power of attorney to transfer for your own benefit. A power of attorney is supposed to be something that's done to where you're acting on behalf of the other person. So if there's an alternate on the power of attorney, we sometimes will ask the alternate to be the signer, and have the initial person resign so that it's not a conflict.
Right.
Or, and then we only do that after we speak with the person that is giving the property. That's when it comes to real estate transactions. It's a case by case basis. It's hard to give a general answer to that, but obviously we want to make sure that the person is protected.
So you're busy all year round.
Yeah, year round.
There's no down, or if the market is low, you just, there's divorces. And I've experienced, for some reason, I don't know, like during my December times, I get a lot of divorces, so there's like a, algorithm there, during the summer, the sales are buying and all that other stuff. But for you, you're always busy.
Yeah.
You're always busy, which is a good thing because you do everything. And I think people need to know, where do I go for this? Where do I go for that? It's like, here it is. You can do everything. You notarize. You're a notary, or you have even your
I'm a notary.
employees?
The staff's a notary. Everyone in our office is a notary. We are hiring. If anyone out there is interested in a job, please give us a call because we need to hire 2 more people to help us in the office. Yes, we are busy. It's an economy-proof business because if real estate is down, like you said, divorces are up or probates are up, or there's always something that's happening.
Yeah.
And so we're busy year round. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming to my podcast. Just give us information as to where you're at, where they can locate you, phone number, email, social media, so that way, they can contact you for any other personal questions. I know some of my friends that are colleagues that I've seen had a couple of questions, especially one with mediation with real estate, which we answered. You do mediation with real estate with the buyer and the seller not agreeing. So give us your information so people can know where they can reach you at.
Okay, so we are since you're watching this probably on Instagram. We are on Instagram. It's at Laguna Legal Help. So please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're on all the social medias at Laguna Legal Help. Our telephone number in the office is 1-800-497-9850. We service all of California. We do deeds throughout the United States, but as far as legal documents, all of California. Okay. So even up north, we have clients up in San Francisco that use our office to prepare documents and to file them. So
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you, Ellie, and thank you for everybody that was watching us. And tune in for our next one. Have a good one.
Do you understand what escrow is?